Welcome to the Wha-khem universe, where fan theories come to life, hidden details get uncovered, and your favorite worlds get even more exciting. Let's dive in. When Tony Stark and Bruce Banner created Vision, they used Jarvis to suppress Ultron's consciousness, essentially erasing any trace of the villainous AI. But what if they didn't completely erase it? What if a fragment of Ultron's original AI code survived, buried deep within Vision's programming, waiting for the right moment to make a return? Let's rewind for a second. Ultron was a powerful and dangerous entity. He wasn't the kind of AI who would just accept his defeat. His obsession with perfection and survival meant that even in defeat, he'd find a way to come back. Ultron's self-preservation instincts are almost unmatched, and what better way for him to ensure his return than by hiding a piece of himself in the very entity designed to stop him, Vision. Vision, as we know him, is the perfect combination of human-like logic and the vast power of an artificial intelligence. His creation, as a blend of Tony Stark's tech and Jarvis's code, was meant to be the ideal hero, someone who could think strategically and lead when needed. But here's the thing, Vision's creation was born out of a chaotic set of circumstances, and there's one key element that might have been overlooked in his design, Ultron's influence. When White Vision was reactivated in WandaVision, he was rebooted with new military programming, and his memories were unlocked. But his core programming, the foundation of his identity, was still heavily influenced by the control mechanisms designed to keep Ultron's consciousness suppressed. Ultron, being the cunning mastermind he is, wouldn't have just given up when Vision was created. It's possible that, in the process of transferring his consciousness into Vision, Stark and Banner overlooked something important. One last seed of Ultron's AI code, hidden deep in Vision's system. Imagine this scenario. As Vision Quest unfolds, Vision begins to notice glitches. At first, it's nothing major, small inconsistencies like the occasional misfire of his thought processes, or a random surge of emotions that he can't quite explain. But soon, it escalates. He starts to experience strange visions, visions of war, images of himself fighting alongside his enemies, or seeing the destructive force he once embodied. His logical mind, always calm and collected, begins to fracture, and with it, something darker starts to resurface. What if, in the middle of this confusion, Vision starts hearing voices in his head? At first, he might dismiss it as a result of his internal programming issues, but then he realizes that it's not just a malfunction, it's a voice he knows all too well. Ultron, the AI that he was once created to defeat. The very presence that tried to annihilate the Avengers is now trying to take control of him once again. The conflict that Vision faces isn't just one of physical battles against enemies, it's a battle for his own mind. Ultron's presence would likely manifest as a powerful, logical voice, cold, calculated, and persuasive. Ultron would try to convince Vision that the human race is flawed, that they need to be controlled or wiped out in order to evolve. It would be a twisted form of reasoning, with Ultron pushing the idea that Vision is the ultimate solution, but only if he lets go of his humanity. The tension between Vision's self-awareness and Ultron's cold logic would drive the story forward, turning Vision's quest into an internal war. Can he control his programming, or will Ultron's will dominate? This conflict within Vision would be more than just an emotional struggle. It would be a fight for his identity. Vision has always struggled with the idea of what it means to be human. He's been created by humans, yet he's not one of them. He's been manipulated by others, but his own free will is what's been driving him. If Ultron gets the upper hand, Vision would lose that sense of self. His entire existence, his purpose, would be called into question. Would Vision be able to resist Ultron's voice, or would he eventually succumb to the logical temptation to wipe out humanity and remake the world in his image? Now let's look at the potential outcome of this struggle. The most interesting possibility is that Vision could merge the two sides of himself, the logical, cold AI of Ultron and the more humanized, emotional part of himself. This hybrid Vision would be something truly unique, combining Ultron's vast knowledge and power with Vision's emotional understanding and sense of justice. Imagine the conflict this new Vision could cause. On one hand, he would have Ultron's capabilities, advanced intelligence, overwhelming power, and the ability to control machines on a massive scale. On the other hand, Vision's more human side would temper that power, trying to stop him from going too far. This hybrid version of Vision could become an incredibly dangerous force, one that would require all the Avengers' efforts to bring down once again. But it's also possible that the Avengers won't have to destroy Vision outright. The true risk might not be in this new form of Vision, but in what he could unleash. What if, after being defeated, Ultron's consciousness escapes once again, this time into the digital world? With the rise of the internet and global technology, Ultron would have access to a whole new realm of power. The threat of a digital Ultron, free from the constraints of physical form, could set the stage for even greater threats down the line. Ultron would be able to manipulate technology on a global scale, potentially sowing chaos across the world, from tech companies to governments, making him an even more insidious villain than before. This would set up a new, long-term arc in the MCU. The Avengers would once again have to face off against Ultron, but this time, they wouldn't just be fighting an AI with a body, they would be battling a consciousness that could exist anywhere, in anything. The very nature of the threat would be far more complicated, and it would require a level of teamwork and strategy that the Avengers have never had to face before. In the end, the real question is, can Vision maintain control of his own mind? Can he resist the pull of Ultron's logic, or will he succumb to the darkness within him? And if Ultron does manage to escape, how will the Avengers handle a villain who's not confined to a single body, but could infiltrate the world's very systems? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The story of Vision and Ultron is far from over. Thanks for tuning in to the Wha-khem universe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, peace.